greetings, welcome back to another Dot2Place10 YouTube video, and today we are doing a reshoot and an update on the sonic screwdriver replica collection. The last video, the aspect ratio, I don't know what the hell happened. So yeah. And before I start, I have a cold. So if you're wondering why I'm speaking really rough, it's because I have a cold. So yeah, it's painful really. So I'm going to go in order of Sonics from classic to modern. So yeah, so starting off we have the Fourth Doctor Sonic Screwdriver replica by RB Replicas via the Etsy website. I will say that the shear's not lined up with the groove cutout, and it should be. But I've tried so many ways to try it to line up with that, but obviously I can't. So yeah, so mine's a bit of a problem. The bullet, as you can see, it's anodized aluminium on the emitter ring. Of course, the magnet which should be red on the inside, but yeah, there's a screw, grub screw, or whatever you want to call it, for the magnet section, which is just aluminium again. That's been anodized black, which has a hint of red to it, if you look closely. We have the dot there, and then of course moving down to the shaft of the screwdriver, you've got the cone section moving to the thinner section, and it steps up to this ring, the activation ring. And of course you've got your groove cutouts, and it is spring loaded. In fact, originally the spring was like so powerful, but I've cut the spring down. So yeah, over time this will scrape, but it is easy to clean off. It's got that gunmetal finish to it, but when you wipe it, it goes back to black. So that's cool. So yeah, it is a flat base, so it will stand up like so, and it's super shiny. In fact, it's easy to polish because you can strip it down and stuff. So yep. And then moving to another classic from TV movie, the Eighth Doctor's Sonic Screwdriver by RB Replicas, and it does need a bit of a polish, I'm not gonna lie. I bought this secondhand from what's his name? Michael. Because I bought the War Sonic off him. I bought this off him on his Instagram. I think it's I forgot his name. It'll pop back into my head. I'll put a screenshot of it on the video. But yeah, the bullet is a powder coated. It's seen better days because, well, I've had to glue this down because it just kept falling out of place, and there's a bit of glue residue which I've still got to clean up. Because once upon a time, when trying to extend the screwdriver, it causes the bullet to just fly out. So you get these and you can tighten them, but they don't seem to hold very well, so I've put super glue around it. So yeah, it does need a bit of a polish, especially on the brass section there. It does collapse because it's telescopic, but when I extend it, I literally hold it like this, and then I just do it gently, because otherwise the spring's going to cause it to fly up, and I don't like doing it like in the movie because it will cause the bullet to fly out of place again, and it's a bugger to fix. So yeah, so it's very retractable. Moving on, we have the War Doctor Sonic, which I bought from the same guy as I just mentioned for the RB8th. Again, I'll leave the Instagram in the description below. So this is based on the War Sonic in the 50th anniversary, because at the bottom we have the fez piece, which is anodized. It's held together with grub screws at the bottom because the original owner, before the guy I bought it off, stripped the threads on the bottom half of the screwdriver, so that's why it's got two grub screws in it. And of course you've got the infamous shear there, and you've got your groove cutout, which has been painted black. and on these notches here as well. We got the notches there. Again, it's actually the same dimensions and same size as the Capture Options Wall Sonic. You got the LED there with the notch there, and when you operate it, you got this rigid section up on the emitter. Doesn't have no electronics, never has, and don't get me wrong, I want to wire it up, but the rod on the inside is actually a solid rod, so there's no way of getting it to light up really. So yeah, there is obviously ways to modify it, but I don't know how to, so I'm not going to try it. I don't do that when you put these in. There's got to be in a certain way, otherwise it's not going to land. It's not going to collapse properly. It's just going to go off to a side. Okay, moving on, we have the whoniversalprops Aztec sonic screwdriver, Colony Cream. Well, ish cream. This has seen better days now. It needs a repaint on the silver sections. So yeah, so it's all 3D printed. There's no electronics apart from the tactile switch, which is very clicky. The dome is actually 3D printed as well. There's no electronics, like I just said. The grub screws are no present on here. It should be. There was this leading inside of there, but obviously I've had to make a hole to repair the screwdriver because I took an old pen apart and just took the inner tube and just shoved it in that hole, shut up, and then it would force the inner channel to slide up. And I taped it into place, and then I glued the clear channel in, which will extend. So there you go. The O-ring has obviously evaporated off there from the amount of times I've glued it, and it's like really frosted. Now originally the screwdriver would only extend about up to there, which was a bit stupid, but now it extends properly. It rattles about. There's no way of stopping that really, sliding and stuff. And again, you can tell I've actually glued it, it's not on properly. I've had to like get the Dremel and actually flatten the surfaces down a bit better, and what I've done is I stuck a clear pen tube, a bit of clear pen tube inside the ball section, just so it'll help align into the acrylic rod. So yeah, so that's the Ninth Doctor's sonic screwdriver. It won't close all the way because it's not lined up properly. Sort of, it's a bit like hit and miss. You've got to line up as best as you can. Like, that's as best as it will go. I want to get a metal one from whoniversalprops at some point. I'm just hoping it doesn't have the same build issues. If I did. But anyways, moving on, we have the Series 4 Tennant screwdriver from the One Company. This is like the one thing I always wanted in my collection since it first came out. It's basically aluminium and plastic. It's actually scanned from Tennant's actual prop to make this. And I bought this off smithel because they're completely sold out and they don't even make these anymore. Sorry. And it is pretty hard to get your hands on. So, yeah. Oh, jeez. So, we have the blue dome, which is a bit weird. It should be a bit flatter, but oh well. The struts are a little bit thinner, and they should be in line with the blue strip and, of course, the slider channel, but obviously you can't expect accuracy with certain things. You've got the plastic body, which over time will cause it to frictionize against the body, and it does extend. And the clear channel's actually a little bit more clear than the last time. So yeah, and of course you've got the ball section there. Of course you've got the end section showing off the teardrops here, which are accurate, 100%, which rubber replicas can't even do. But the One Company, since it was scanned from Tennant's actual prop, they've sketched up the crackles similar to the actual prop, which was really cool. Obviously, mine's been darkened a little bit in some areas with a bit of shoe polish, but then I rubbed it off because it looked a bit stupid. I might do it again though, just to make it seem a bit more, yeah. And of course, you've got your end cap, which is actually an access point, and of course, extended my screwdriver for the So in fact, the bottom section is actually threaded. So yeah, it makes it easier. It feels like the prop when you do that, to be honest. So yeah, moving on, speaking of Series 4, we have the Universal Props, my recent addition into the collection. Series 4 prop replica, which again is a little bit inaccurate. The body's 3D printed, and so is the slider and the slider channel, which is only a little bit there. This one surprised me. At first I wasn't sure, but I like it now. The dome isn't 3D printed, it's some sort of rubberized material, don't know what it is. And of course you've got the windows, which the struts are a lot thicker, which is more accurate to the original, but again is not in line with the blue strip and the slider channel, which is a little bit unfortunate. And again, a bit like the Aztec, oh jeez, dropped my screwdriver. A bit like the Aztec, there's no grub screws, but that's something I can sort in the future. And down here, where they've obviously polished it, they haven't got round into the end piece properly, which is actually 3D printed, and for a 3D printed end piece, it's not that bad. Obviously, you've got the seam line there, but it does extend. The wide twist is a lot better than the previous versions it's made. It's just the top, very top there. I don't know if you can see this, but it's not 100%, twisted. Of course, I like the next section on the Sonic. I prefer where this is shaped compared to the Tenant. It's actually similar to, in fact, it's the dimensions of the Aztec. The ridge teardrops are different. In fact, it's more like the TWC in some perspective. And of course, the cutout goes at the bottom of the teardrop as opposed to the top of the ridge, which is inaccurate on this one, but accurate on this one. And of course, you've got a bit of like brass showing. It's not real brass; it's like painted, and it is crackle painted. There's a bit of blue showing. It reminds me of the 11th hour variant that is made, and it does give me the 11th hour feel, but it does feel. It's got that rattle that everybody loves in a sonic screwdriver, so that's really cool. Ooh, just knock everything. So yeah, just showing these in comparisons. I want to get the 50th anniversary version of that from Universal Props, and of course the Aztec. Downside is everything's glued together, so I can't even make it electronic, which is a bit of a shame, really. So yeah. Second to last, we have the 11th screwdriver. Well, and 12th, a universal remote. It is technically classed as a replica in some respect. So we have the 11th/12th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver remote / replica. It is technically classed as a replica in one way, because it's got some elements like on a CT or rubber toe, like, it's not accurate, I understand. In fact, this one's more of a mishmash of two different versions of the same Sonic. Because this is originally the 12th Doctor's Universal Remote, which I've converted a little bit using the bottom half of the 11th Doctor screwdriver and the grip and the end piece. But the middle, I swapped it out for the one on the One Company 12th, because I prefer the yellow and the flex. It feels more to the prop. And I know there's like hideous gaps in places like that because it won't go any further up because of the wire that's been budged in there. So yeah, that's been glued. So yeah, it does flick, like so. And there is supposed to be swirls in there, which is reminiscent to the actual props. And over time, the cage section does get a little bit wobbly. So yeah, and of course I've added a switch on there, just to make it feel a bit more superficial to the prop. So yeah, and it definitely needs a polish, because the silver's going dull again. So yeah, even though it's like zinc alloy and copper plated stuff, it's brilliant. And lastly, the Sonic sunglasses. Love it or hate it, it's a bit like Marmite. This was only like a couple of quid from a shop. Don't do anything, just actual sunglasses, which resemble the one that the 12th Doctor wore. Again, a replica. So yeah, so it's wearable technology. Just don't look at my browser history, for crying out loud. So yeah. Oh jeez, I'm knocking my tripod. So yeah. Anyways, guys, I'm just gonna lay these, and I'm gonna end my video here. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more, feel free to leave a like and of course subscribe. Don't forget to check out my other content on my other social media such as Instagram and TikTok. And I shall see you guys in the next video. Alonzo.